Holy smoly, that is not what I expected. And I'm just like, this is how you make one assembler. It's clean, it's nice, it's beautiful. Now, there's a little known fact that volcano is actually Latin for angry hill. Welcome back to the Factory Automation Nation. We are here on Vulcanus. We are trying to get back into space. We have the orbiter still floating around doing its thing, protecting us from the asteroids, or protecting itself from the asteroids more accurately, protecting our beautiful fuel, our oxidizer, thruster, and thruster fuel. And yeah, we are basically in a holding pattern here where we have been able to maintain the defenses up top. We've been able to make some headway down bottom, and now we are trying to connect the two and not just silo ourselves out to the limited terrestrial domain. So we are here. One adjustment that I'm going to be making, I'm going to go ahead and just take care of this real quick. So we've got these foundries, right? And one thing that's really nice is they have a base productivity of 50%. Somebody in the comments mentioned that it might be a good idea to try to take advantage of that by using them in a few of our recipes. So I'm going to go ahead and clear some space here, drop down a foundry right here, and voila, now you have more foundries. So all this is going to be flowing in. Luckily, the pipes actually even line up. No adjustments needed there. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and be making our foundries a little bit more efficiently as a result. Yeah, should be the same recipes otherwise, or like materials otherwise. Just takes a little bit more time to get the concrete on board. But yeah, this is going to be nice to be able to kind of increase the rate at which we are propelling ourselves forward here. We can make a lot of resources very quickly with all this stuff here, and we should be able to get into what is our next objective, the metallurgic science packs requiring molten copper, tungsten plates, and tungsten carbide. Plates we haven't really gotten into too much, just the ore and the iron. So yeah, basically molten copper, molten iron, and of course the tungsten carbide that we've already been manufacturing. So we'll get that underway shortly, and we'll see what we're able to really make happen. But look at that, boom. More foundries on the way. Then we have the concrete slowly making its way through too. But we want to get back up to snuff to where we were at before. So the goal, I think, today, other than the science packs, is to get some like good blue chip production going and stuff like that. At the end of the day, though, it's going to be really hard to work in this territory without a way to destroy the cliffs. I think it's very important that we have I was going to say cliff science, cliff explosives, and that means that we're going to be shipping things back to Novice. That's where our labs are and all the other science productivity is. Nice little benefit as well is that will bring us one step closer to accessing the long-range artillery cannons, which probably can't do anything about the worms. They're not buildings. I guess you can still manually aim them, but again, they are quite resistant to explosive damage, so not sure it'll really do that much to help us out. Still, right now we're in a good spot in a lot of ways. We are going to be, adjusting things with the foundries and go from there. I don't have like a full mapped out plan. I'm kind of just winging it, but I do think that there's a lot of ways that we can improve on what we have going on right now. First of all, making sure we have good tungsten ore flow. We're going to be needing to do something with this. I guess we might as well just pull it right now into a box at the very least so that we can have a small stockpile for the future. So we'll see what we can do with this tungsten plate and go from there. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get some automation going. One thing that I have heard good things about, nice spell in the comments, was mentioning poison capsules have the potential to be really potent. My experience has been that they don't do that much damage on their own, but if you can stack them up, keep on throwing them, like, you might be able to kind of at least negate the HP regen with the fact that you can throw two every second and it lasts for about 20 seconds. So, and of course there's the area of effect aspect too if it's hitting multiple parts. It all definitely could add up to something that works. I was trying to find a good spot to put all the pieces required for a poison capsule together. And I'm thinking that we probably need to put it near the coal line. There's the steel line as well. Yeah, a lot of ways you can do it. I'm trying to think, because like red can go this far, right? And obviously steel can come right off here, but how would we get the E circuits? We'd probably need like 2 inserters, most likely, which is a little awkward, I would say. So let's say that we were pulling them here, and then it would still require a lot more shenanigans to really get it to where we want it, right? We could do something more like this, and that's still going to be too complex. So let's go ahead and try this one out. I think that would work, actually. So we're pulling coal, we're pulling electronic circuits. What else do we need for the poison capsules? We also need steel, which is right here as well. So a little funky, but at the end of the day, we get what we need without too much trouble. We're probably going to need to expand on our coal output, but that can be something that we could do here in just a second. So go ahead and say, since they stack to 100, we certainly don't need more than like 4 setups, no problem. I assume they stack to 100. I think the other capsule, the other thing I was looking at was 100. Yeah, so yeah, don't need too much of it. In the meantime, we should be mining more, right? We are looking at this situation here. The coal line is starting to lose its edge, if you excuse the pun. And that means that we can definitely tap into things a little bit more with the big mining drill. Which, if we think about it, really, if you just need to clear out the patch over time, you could actually like look at it more like this, I think. Yeah. So there's a lot of space here, obviously, for us to be able to kind of tap into. So maybe that is something that we can do more of soon. But I really don't think we need more than like 3 big mining drills. They are big after all. And though we will probably want to route the belts in a way that makes sense for the future, I don't actually plan on filling out the ore field in full. We're just going to work with what we have. Slap one of these bad boys down, presumably. So we could even do it the proper way. Close to it anyways. If we do something like this, it should fit right in here. This one's out of alignment, but whatever. So that'll increase our coal count significantly. As well, it has higher productivity, lower resource drain. We're pretty happy with this. So we got that going. That'll increase our coal output. We do have a few more of these, but yeah, we gotta make sure that we're allocating them where they are most needed. In fact, right now we are lacking tungsten carbide, and that's because we're lacking carbon, which is because we are lacking coal. So hopefully that will fix things a little bit, just adding in those few extra pieces. In the meantime, yeah, we've got a lot of foundries, and we want to be doing something with it, right? So right now, as far as raw material outputs, we do have a pretty good chain, but that might start drying up as we start tapping into other things. Our petroleum line isn't doing that well because you can see our plastic manufacturing isn't doing anything. It has a fluid ingredient shortage, so we're going to be wanting to get a little bit more. Our heavy oil is the low one, and then our petroleum is just completely empty. But you'll also notice we still have like a holding pattern of light oil here. So that means to me that we probably want to reproduce this once over. So we could easily do that if we just move this coal along here. That will easily give us a third piece that we can benefit from as we put it all together. Just need the water and the light oil. So water there. I think what we could do is do underground here, and then we can fill in the blanks. So here, and then across here. And that will be another one adding in, which will drain the light oil. But since we are also lacking heavy oil, we are going to be needing to do more with that as well, which means we need more refineries. Right now, as far as refinery count goes, we have exactly one. Not a lot of space for it. We really just kind of need to move this all into a better, more intentional space, I guess is probably the best way to put it. And yeah, we could also probably use some more of our substations over here to also make sure that everything is plugged in and we're actually using the solar panels that we've managed to place. It's going to get a little compact here. I mean, the lava area isn't really buildable. The cliff area is definitely not buildable. So really, we're just going to have to either build on the coal line or tap into this area and transfer things a larger distance. But, you know, we'll make it work either way. And we'll figure it out. Power-wise, right now, we're okay. Accumulator charge is dipping to about 50%, which means that we will need to supplement that in the future as we expand. So our goals for today, we do want to get metallurgic, but there's no point in just making the science packs because we also need to get it off the rock, and that's going to require some of the space stuff. We're going to need a rocket silo. It needs blue chips, a lot of steel, but only for the one-time production of the silo itself. And then if we look back at Novice, you can get a better picture of the space stuff that we'll be making. So obviously blue chips, again, the setup here, space platforms, not super necessary. We have the orbiter already in place. But yeah, we also have this low... I should be buffering these blue chips, shouldn't I? I absolutely should. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. So while I'm here, I think I can do this, this, and then put some steel chests here. And can I horizontal that here? Okay. Hopefully the robots are cool with that. Over on Vulcanus, they certainly are not, because the only place that has these substations is right in my own pocket, if that. So yeah, we'll rebuild there. We'll make sure as far as automation for inserters, got to double check on that as well. I got some blue inserters here. Okay, so we'll just stick with that for the most part and handcraft these greens whenever appropriate. Yeah, very different setups in terms of like how robust things have been and how easy it is to access the material that I need in different capacities. So if we look back at Novice, they're placing the bulk. Hopefully they'll be placing steel chests. I don't know if I automated steel chests. I definitely automated the red and the yellow, so we can go look back at that. I believe it should be in this area somewhere. Kind of had it in like its own weird little spot. There it is. So steel chests are in there as well. So yeah, they'll get there, they'll figure it out, and we'll have some nice blue chests buffered up, or blue chips buffered up for the future. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, we could also start, making our own red, using the plastic to make our own red chips, and then that would allow us to make more roboports, and it just kind of spreads from there. So a lot of little things can come into play here. Trying to think of the best place to start. Kind of want to move all this out of the way and utilize this space a bit better, but of course, like I said, it's still kind of a narrow passage unless we're just routing. So do we want to build into here? I guess that's our best bet for right now. So plastic is going to continue onward. But there's still going to be a lot of other materials that I'm kind of unable to access. So if, like, for example, we're making a bunch of red chips, we're going to see that we need copper and iron, and that is all up here. We can either route it down and around, or we can siphon it off with a splitter. Either way, we're kind of converting this into a vertical bus, which can be done, and seems like will be done. Let's go ahead and just get that out of the way now so that we can have more stuff to access in this area. I mean, no matter what, we're definitely building south, whether it's here or here, whatever really fits. So we're going to go ahead and just get that started now, rather than second guessing too much. That's a trickier one. I think actually I want to do it this way. Boom. And then we just need the iron here, which should be nice and impossible. Well, if I move this, it's fine, right? Perfect. Boom, vertical bus. So that's some good materials to work with. Is there anything else that I had added onto it later on? The tungsten could come into play as well. At the very least, yeah, we're going to have to find a way to get the ore to the bottom left, or just process it all here and then bring it down. So yeah, I think this is kind of an okay area to process. If we can just kind of focus our tungsten management here and here. I don't think it'll take up that much space. We're not looking for massive quantities at this time, but in the future that might change. We will see. For now, though, a few more of those mining drills would be great. This thing has 3 banked up, but it says output is full just based on that alone. What is the stack size for our big mining drill? It is 20. So we can go ahead and set it up where it is throwing it out here. Probably want this to be a red chest instead. But yeah, as far as how many we want, 40 is okay. They're big. They consume a lot of electricity. I don't see myself wanting that much more now. But that being said, of course, if we want to send those to outer space and get them back on Novice, they should be pretty useful there. Eventually, we should have all of our drills being big mining drills, right? I assume. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and make sure the plastic is in a good position here too. And with that, usually you do like a little gap here if you want to make sure you can do some underground belting. That's usually for yellow belts, like early buses. I actually don't think it matters that much. And I don't plan on doing like 4 here, 4 there, etc. So we'll stick with this for now. Again, this is going straight through the coal patch though, and you know, we did just make this big mining drill take up the spot. Of course, that could be kind of remedied by just, you know, moving it over to the second half. But eventually, it's just not going to line up, right? Annoying, but I probably need to make a blueprint for twists on the belt anyway, so I think that I can go ahead and just do that. So let's go ahead and say this can go, and then we do something like this. Inevitably, you're just going to run into space limitations or want things to go a different direction, and you want to be able to make a little curve here. So let's go ahead and blueprint this little curve, and I think with some vertical flips, horizontal flips, etc., you can make the most of that. So we'll do 2 here, and a 90-degree turn. As far as, I guess it's just a belting thing. That's fine. We'll go ahead and create that blueprint. Keep that for later. We can go ahead and put the gun turret one in there as well. And now we're cooking. So we're already going to be... So what we're going to do is we're going to move it to the west of the coal line. I'm trying to think if we want it to be all the coal line. Yeah, if we want to build on the right side of the bus, that's fine, but we still want it to be past it in general. Yeah, so we're looking more like here. And that should do fine. If we're worried about it, we can always just do a couple more. But we're going to do that with the blueprint anyway, so open up our blueprints. 90 turn vertical, which is V. VH rotate. Still not doing it right. There we go. And that should do it. So we are lacking the red belts. We can go ahead and grab those from here. We've been building up quite a few of them. Keep our inventory relatively clean as well will be important as we continue to build. So if I'm not ready to make a Roboport line, I could always make the tank with a bunch of Roboports in it, and that will expand on my robot capacity. But honestly, with the portable solar panels getting so much amplification from the environment, I don't even necessarily feel like it's necessary. It only takes a few extra seconds to really build out everything. So I think we just stick with what we have. All right. I don't think we want sulfur. Like, sulfur was necessary if we wanted to go for the explosives, but outside of that, I don't actually think I need it for anything. So we'll just keep plastic for now and go from there. Now, I think the whole point was to try to start making some red chip action happen. We can do that simply by grabbing the green, the copper, and the plastic. So we can go ahead and tell these guys to move along, and the nice thing is that they are already kind of set up in a way that we can just kind of split it off from each location. So we want a splitter here. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we'll just do that. Continue onward. How much we actually want to be producing here? Well, we could do the whole blue line. We need sulfuric acid for that, but luckily that is just a fluid. Pretty easy to bring along. Had a vertical line of it here, so we can kind of source that to the west here. Do something more like this. And then great. So we got that. Minus a few pipes that need to go out. And plenty that need to be manufactured. Cool. Alrighty. And then, yeah, this will be turned into copper cable. This will be plasticed up as well. So I'm thinking that we can just go ahead and copy our blue chip blueprint that we already made and go from there. The only difference would be if we want to molten copper the copper cable, which does have that productivity bonus, has the high capacity. Do we think that's worthwhile? I mean, I want to try it out. I want to see, like, just offhand if it has the potential to make things a bit more efficient for us. Obviously, plastic bar, just add plastic and you've got yourself low density structures is so good that, like, I don't even care about the numbers, just the simplicity of it is amazing. But we're gonna go ahead and try the copper cable thing. The timing, we definitely need bulk inserters on this, right? I can't imagine anything less. The question is, do we need more than one? Seems like it's not able to pull enough, so that means I should probably do something more along the lines of this, and then or we can side load it. I actually prefer side loading it because then it will be on both sides of the belt, and that's just better. And we can always do it more like this instead. Just close this out. We'll fill our inventory up a bit, but it will work out just fine. Is that enough? Yes, so we're actually consuming the amount that we're producing, not in terms of output, but yeah. And that means that we actually don't need the copper for this portion of the assignment, but we can go ahead and, yeah, look at blue chips again. Just sulfuric. That's actually really nice. So, because sulfuric acid is one of the things that naturally forms on Vulcanus, that part is something that we can worry a lot less about. As far as the blueprint we were looking at here, let's see here. I'm thinking... So the thing about this is it makes the green chips on site. So we would just be using... Oh, check this real quick. A little refuel up top. No big deal. Just make that nice and quick. Yeah, I'm thinking that we could do that, but obviously it means that these guys are just going to be... that we're making green chips are just going to be chilling. And I think that's okay in general. I'm trying to think of what we're using the green chips for, and if it's in any way renewable or if it's a one-time thing. Electric engine units, you know, the solar panels. Yeah, I think it's probably just best to... It's definitely worth the extra few assembling machines I'm going to need to make that happen. Speaking of which, we are short on iron. And we're going to need that to make our assembling machines happen. So we're going to go ahead and jump on that here. Am I not automating assembling machines? I feel like that is an oversight if that's not the case, but I believe we are. They're just in a box. We just got to open up the box. That's all. Yeah, it's been a little while. I'm hoping that I have most of the stuff boxed somewhere, but because I didn't all put it in one place, I do have to kind of dive into the memory banks here. For example, iron gear wheels are being made in like 4 different places. Is any of them boxing it, or... Yeah, we do have some boxed iron gear wheels as well. So we can go ahead and grab some of those, maybe a slightly less, but still a good amount. Anywho, we now have the materials we need to make this happen. Let's go ahead and just drop the blueprint and go from there. Looks like that's copper input. There's going to be iron input on that line and only half of it. And then... So what I do want to cut out is the copper cable part. So we're going to go ahead and do that. At which point I do need iron to join the line there. And then iron and plastic will go across. So yeah, we'll go ahead and just do it here. And make sure that we have this going down. I have plenty of blue inserters, fortunately. And then what we'll want from there is, yeah, plastic and iron, not the green. Good idea, but we've just kind of changed our approach. So we'll go ahead and grab the iron here instead, filter it off, or splitter it off rather, and bring that across here, along with the plastic. And with the sulfuric acid almost in place, we'll go ahead and bring it to where it needs to be. Looks like we just connect those lines. Perfect. All right, so sulfuric's in. I didn't really pay attention to the power spacing, unfortunately, but it'll still work itself out. We just, I guess to get the most out of it, we'll do something like this, just slightly off, but we'll be okay. And then, yeah, we want on the inside iron, and I believe in the same way plastic, but it doesn't seem to matter because we're just going to be red inserting it out anyways. What are you? Why aren't you? Oh, it's a red. Okay, I don't have red inserters. Perfect. Let's go ahead and fix that real quick. I'm not banking the yellows, right? So I only made it for blues. Currently, red inserters need to be manually created. All good. We'll go ahead and just bring it right in here. And this obviously should not go there. Instead, we will be able to pull the reds off the line, pull the blues off the line, I think is the game plan. These guys are lacking copper, which will need to then be split onto here. Technically, side load here works fine. It does potentially change the balance of the right lane versus the left lane, so let's just do it this way, which still will be biased one way or another, but at the very least it has both have access to it. So they're in, they're having a good time, and now we are making the red, which can be put on into a box here. Boom. And then same can be done here for blues. Alrighty. And then we can, of course, bring it into, you know, Spaceland or whatever we're doing. Not entirely sure just yet, but we'll get it all mapped out shortly. Current plan is to use less trains in general, just because I can't get very clean game plan for it, but everything's going to get kind of twisty, curvy, but you know, eventually maybe we use it to cross lava and bring in stuff from longer distances, etc., etc. How are we doing on our current sulfuric acid amount? We're pumping at a pretty good rate, 22 per second, and it's not necessarily filling it up though, huh? In fact, it looks like it is going up, but only just. So maybe we need to tap into this a little more and bring these to be part of the family. Okay. Make a couple of those. Make sure our iron counts are looking good. Again, maybe just boxing raw iron would be the trick. I'm also boxing pipes. That should help. You can pick up a lot of little things in these places. Not a lot of them you actually need. I just need the raw iron to transform those into undergrounds. Yeah, I definitely would love to avoid manual belt work if I can. We'll just go ahead and pull this for now. Also could use some more of these passive providers, because once we get the robo grid online, we'll be cooking. Now the electric was it routed, or was I just manually putting it in? We'll have to see. The electric engines were down here. I don't really see any way that it had escaped. So I have two options. Either I redo everything, or for right now I could, you know, just go as far as I need to. And improve my approach for future stuff. Yeah, so I think for right now, we will route this. But we know that we are going to be shutting down that line hopefully this evening and go from there. For right now, It's going to be the best we can do to keep things moving the right way. How we doing? 20 foundries. I'd like to see it. Starting to feel the heat of the inventory space. A big part of that is there's just a lot of reserved stuff that made sense on Novice that I just have to kind of adapt around now that I'm not there. And, you know, we'll see what we actually get out of all this. But go ahead and pull some more of these. And on that note, it looks like we'll need some undergrounds and splitters as well. We did make these over here. Cool. And there we are. Alrighty, so we are making blues, decent pace. Probably don't need a massive count buffered. On Novice, I imagine. Yeah, they're filling up decently. But at least we're getting some production out there. That is definitely something that we could potentially need in bulk when we start shooting rockets off again. I can definitely afford to craft a few more of these. And like I said, just grabbing raw iron will be very helpful too. So let's go ahead and do that. I could probably turn on personal logistics and see what happens as far as what it auto trashes. That's probably a good idea. And then, you know, once we get a couple logistic bots, I can kind of auto remove things again. Okay, so I'm now remembering that I think I need to combine electric engine units and red chips to make some of the robo stuff. So let's take a look at that real quick. Electric engine units are used in the robotic frames. And luckily they don't need red inserter or red chips, the advanced circuits. So that means that they can be still made over on the right side. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize we were so close to the utility science pack as well. We've got all that stuff automated, so that's great. More of a question of how we get a lot of the big stuff. A lot of steel, a lot of electric engine units. Well, that's not going to be that big a deal. We have a chest set up for that right here. Once this fills up, presumably. Let's see. Yeah, it's definitely not using all that, so let's go ahead and say we want this chest to actually have like 5 stacks to it. Still need to improve our oil output, especially to match the demand for plastic. And then trying to think what else we'll need for that. I think for right now we don't really need to up our robot count that much. We just need to make sure that there's enough robo bays to go around. So let's go ahead and say roboports is the way to go. I remember those are usually under logistics. There they are. Gear wheels, advanced circuits, steel plates. Got it. So we can do gear wheels here. Steel plates can be pulled off of this one, and I think we'll be good to go from there. So the reds will need to leave is basically it. Or I can make my own... I can just make a new red line. Honestly, I don't want to mess with the blue output, so we're just going to make our own red line that will require... We're actually eating all of these circuits. I didn't really ratio out, but I was like, okay, a foundry worth of circuits with crafting speed 4, surely that pumps this stuff out. But while it does keep the... These guys, even these guys don't even think... Is that electric? Ah, that's what it is. Okay. I was like, I swore I would assume that they actually produce a lot more, but because of low power, that's fluctuating much more heavily. So you can see We are out of accumulator charge. We do have solar panels back online, but we need to be building up our energy storage. So we need to be setting that up. Maybe that's something I can bring over here instead. That seems just better. So we're going to go ahead. It's less finicky if I do it this way. And that will cover these areas here. We can then build whichever of these is valid. And then, of course, one more line down here, unless we want those to be solar. I think solar makes sense too. Alrighty. And then we need a roboport. Is this all offline for the moment? Yeah, it's nighttime. We've accumulated too much. Just added a little bit too much all at once. But we do have this stuff already pre-manufactured, so let's go ahead and at least bring the solar panels out to make that happen. The accumulators. And if I do have the materials, I would just like to start getting into manufacturing some robos myself. It does take a little while, but better get that online sooner rather than later. Alrighty. Then, of course, the extra space next to the substations can still fill in here. And same, I guess, right down here. Even if it is offset by 1. Just try to make the use of the space that we can. And the rest needs to be available for walking, so. Looks like we are out of accumulators for the moment. So we'll go ahead and hopefully see that production rate increase since we have the wrong gradients. Yeah, not too bad. All right, so we are seeing these all fill up slowly. But in general, our accumulator charge hasn't hit 100% in a while, so we really just need to up our solar panels more than anything. Oh, there's like a little lava patch right there. Okay. It's all good. We'll figure it out. And then I think we lack additional solar right now. I think our automation line was good enough that we'll have a good amount of production. We just weren't buffering that many at the time because we didn't have enough raw material to really support a solid buffer. So bringing this in and doing the exact same thing we were just doing. I think Control Z probably would work there too, but here we are. Our substations are not going to reach that far. I don't know why I thought otherwise, but we will need to fix that as well. So these guys cover all the way to there, which means we need right about here. Cool. Great. Again, I probably want a bit more walking space right here. I wouldn't mind closing that up. But everything else that can fit should fit. And it'll all work out. Obviously, very nice that they gave us the 40% or the 400% solar panel power, because that does make a huge difference. And I do think that this planet would be a lot harder to work with if that was not the case. Yes, we can technically build a bit up here too, but I think this expansion will be enough for a little while. We'll see. Hopefully, yeah, it's rising a decent bit. Man, these cliffs though. Let's go ahead and drop off while we're over here. We'll drop off the pump jacks that we had made earlier. And that will, our sulfuric acid is all the way down, you see. So doubling that up. It is going to continue to reduce its percentage. Eventually, maybe even we tap into this field, but should be good for right now. I say that it's not increasing as fast as I thought. It's definitely being consumed at a substantial rate as well. So I guess we just do a little bit more of this. Steel's too far for me to really want to go any further than that, but why is the UI not showing up? Just from copy paste? It's like, nah, you gotta queue that stuff up. I think this is safe. Cool. All right, and that will bring it nice. Why is it going down still? Come on, team. That's crazy to me. Do I have it? Even then, it should still be going up continuously, even if I did have another storage spot for it. Extraction is going up. All right, let's grab some steel. Let's load up this whole... I did not think I'd be pulling that much sulfuric that quickly, but that's fine. Pump it up. There are many things in history that can be defined as coming before or after techno beats Pump Up the Jam. As a major historical event, all things can be referenced by it and akin to it. Alrighty, we're bumping. Certainly that's enough. There we go. Sulfuric acid flying up. Power situation fully restored. Could use a little bit more accumulator action. Looks like knights are still a little lacking in terms of stability on the power scale. So what we can do is probably just grab one of these, throw it over here. I guess I need that gap open. I don't really need it per se, but we'll just go ahead and grab our extra batteries while we're out here. Or do we want to let the robots do that? I think it's better to just get the roboports online and then let the robots take care of it with the red chests when that is appropriate. Important thing is we all have power. Copper cable, I wanted to monitor the intake here. It looks like we are not producing as much as I thought we would be. It is in fact just producing 12 per second, and we're consuming 4.5 per machine. Okay. It's a lot of cable, but we can manage it. And yeah, we do need the double inserter, as is something I'm learning now. So ideally we like split it like this, and then we do like that, and that, and then we'll just move this over. Cool. And if we vertical flip this to here, we can do the same thing, I guess. Almost. Because I kind of wanted there to be a splitter here. And I'm not seeing that unless I do this. We'll get there in a second. Okay. So this will be good. We just do one of these, and bring down. Cool. Let the cables flow. You'll see here we're actually going to be limited by the amount that a single double red can carry. We do not have the improved belts just yet, but we're not too far away on the tech tree. Why did that resolve itself? There should still be... Okay, it just basically is a temporary warning. I see. So I noticed that doesn't go away once you've resolved it, and it doesn't... and even when you have... Yeah, like there's a lag time between when you resolve it and when it goes away. And apparently that's because it's just a timed warning. It doesn't actually relate to the current state of armament. That's fine. All right. We're pumping cables. We need more cable here. No, we fine. All good. Now, I was going to make another red line. And I really wish this calcite was just somewhere else. But let's go ahead and see what we can do if I did this with a horizontal. That is getting too close to our little... Well, it's not exactly going to work like that either. It's going to be like here. Let's see if we can make this work. And go from there. Oh, I actually auto sets up the fast underground belts for us. That's actually really nice. When I did the there's I don't know if it's new, but there's like, you hold a button and it overrides existing material. So it basically demolishes material in the way, puts down that material, and I didn't realize, but it will also auto set up your underground belts to carry the materials that would otherwise be obstructed. And the end result is red chips over here. As soon as we resolve one small problem, we need a plastic input right here. We need an iron input right here. I actually don't think that we're going to be able to support all this with the copper cable provided, but you know, we can work around that. I think the best solution would be to once again mess with this thing. All right, so that's set up there. And now we can do this. So now we have two outputs from this splitter. And that will allow us to then run some extra down here. Yeah, calcite line kind of sucks here, but you gotta have your calcite. Yeah, ideally we kind of run that around the rim of the territory, or we just take the territory back. But at least for now we're doing fine. So we wanted to... yeah. Once we get blue, won't matter. For right now, we just need to combine this with plastic right here. That's one too far, right? It's actually going to be right here. Yeah, because this is the input, this is the output. This is where the red chips go. So, belt can still exist, but not in the same way. Alrighty. Is that not what we wanted, right? That is definitely not what we wanted. Okay. Boom. This will work as soon as it gets green chips. These will get green chips as soon as they get iron. Iron comes in from here and here. And it's on the wrong side. Luckily, they're hungry enough for it. They'll avoid any issues, but yeah, we do want to do something like this. Nope, still wrong side. We want it on the close side. Which is more like this. Cool. Let the iron flow. But as we're seeing, our iron is not up to snuff. Because we are sending a lot of different directions right now. So let's go ahead and drop some foundries. Make some more iron plates. The solution is always just more foundries. Which does, of course, change our energy consumption quite a bit, but we'll make it work. So we probably will start losing molten iron. Okay, I can see the exact number if I click it, right? No. There it is. 33.6, 33.7. Yeah, we're going up. But are these working? Yes, they are. Okay, cool. They just now kind of filled up. So we just need the blue coming out. And then one here for good measure, I think. You can probably make this a steel one, I would say. Just to kind of future-proof a bit, I guess. And then make this another iron one. Which can go through underground there. We spread it out here. We can make a more even splitter, but we got to watch our inventory, which has a number of small issues with it. Boom. Looks good to me. Blue is certainly going to be shrinking now, right? With this added steel line, I imagine it's got to be 32, 31. Yep. So we'll go ahead and add another lava consumption engine right here. Once again, gotta do something about this. Let's go ahead and say for now, I have a random iron chest in here somewhere. Seems like right there. Perfect. That's exactly how you should deal with that situation. No nuts. All right. Putting a foundry down. Copying its orders and adding that to the line here. Nice and easy. And just this one simple trick and it expands right away. All right. Now we're doing this. Oh, the stone though. Okay. Still really, really easy to just kind of add a little bit more. That's why we dedicated some space for this earlier. Even if it did seem like a pain to move everything over. Doing good. Stone brick stuff. These guys are throwing it in the lava. They might be getting a bit overloaded since it's not emptying. You can do that. Alrighty. Now our molten is 314, 317. It's kind of fluctuating, but I think it's generally trending upward. We'll see here if we hit 319 soon. 322, even better. Yeah, we're doing good. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, we have stuff moving. Iron is full once again. There's steel on it. What happened? All right, there's some steel mixed in here, which is a bit annoying. And that is going to be going both directions. So there's 2 lines to clear out. At the end of the day, we can just put a couple of inserters, and at some point at the end of the line, we'll be able to take care of it. But it could have hit a few sub-junctures, I guess. Why is there steel? Was it just like a momentary mistake with the lines? I'm assuming it was just like a minor hiccup. Oh. No? Yes. Yeah, you're the problem. Don't do that. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and clear out the lines where we can. Let's start here. Well, probably have the most impact if we can do it where the problem really originated. Yeah. Filter, steel. And make some chests. Alright, that'll clear out some parts of the line. And some of these we'll just have to run through, especially here. Whichever things we're most busy making things, that's going to be where most of the problem lies. Alright, all clear there. Yeah, stuff happens. You get leaks. You gotta clean them up. So that line will be fine from here. We really need to focus on the right line, which has a little bit into here as well. Double steel here. Yeah, that's one of the disadvantages of my current setup is not a clear endpoint for everything. Goes in a lot of little different directions. But we're not at mass production level, so kind of inevitable. But yeah, this is technically the end of the line for the iron. But I think I've cleared out all these little extra spots and we should be okay. But if you see something not working like 10 hours from now, it's probably because of one small piece of steel that shouldn't have gone where it did. Okay. And put it back in the... Oh, this chest is full. We'll just go ahead and... Honestly, while we're at it, we'll just clear out some of this extra stuff too. Nobody will notice. Certainly. I feel like those though. Probably could use a couple of foundries now that I look at it. Oil refineries, whatever you call them. Stone brick over here. And that'll help with our plastic output, which I'm sure is bottlenecking right now. But these red chips don't really have anywhere to go, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, these ones, for example, don't have plastic. And those red chips are doing nothing. So we'll go ahead and just copy this right here for now. Until we figure out a better plan. So right now, I want to make roboports. I want to expand oil. And for that, I have to think, where does oil live? We have this oil setup, which I would consider quite temporary because, well, it doesn't have room to grow. And what, like, if my demand for oil increased like tenfold, where do we make that happen? I feel like we're moving the steam and we're bringing it down here. We also work to the left, since it does rely on sulfuric and coal, and that's all right here. So I could see that being a better option. So what I could do is turn Roboport off and then just kind of like live edit a little replication of what we have going on right here. Obviously, it's going to have some flaws. But at the end of the day, we can work with that. Let's say that first and foremost, we just want oil from coal and sulfuric. Coming in, let's do a horizontal flip. Does that help anything at all? A little bit. Let's pretend it does. We don't want it on the coal line necessarily, but that would cause more issues if we ignore that part entirely. The space is a limitation. Sulfuric acid we can kind of take anywhere. Coal's right there. Guess we're building it down here. It's a little awkward. How do we get water? Water comes from calcite and sulfuric acid. Okay. We have a calcite line right there. Yeah, I think we just bring all this stuff over and then we kind of play around with it till we get what we want. And we'll just leave this for batteries and stuff as a kind of our smaller scale production line. And then route the petroleum back up top when we need it. So we don't need the sulfur. Don't care about the explosives. So I'm going to say we need... We don't even need the plastic. We just need to route the petroleum back up afterwards. So I'm going to say we need this much. Minus that, minus that. This looks good to me personally. There's a pump there with some interesting instructions we can ignore. But I really just want that water set up. So, going for a little run. Go ahead and remove that. I'll need to run the sulfuric from here. All right, now we have some breathing room. So we're going to have them clear out all this stuff, which they can kind of do right now. If I do this and then turn it off, they come back. Unfortunate. Yeah, let's just use the design space and we'll go from there. So this is more scalable, right? We can go down some distance. Like it. Yeah, let's work with it as is. I believe that's the sulfuric acid line, so one down wouldn't hurt. And let's say over here so that we don't hit the cliffs. Cool. Let's work with that. Now we don't want this iron stuff. That wasn't for what we needed. That was for engine units. We're not worried about engine units, I don't think. Okay. And then this will be for delivering out somewhere else. I don't think we need that either right now. This is obviously not needed. Concrete is not part of our plan. The pump is gone. And the battery stuff can go. The lubricant stuff can go. And now we have our essentials. So what we can do is we can say, okay, we want the heavy oil to come down here and do its thing. But I'd actually rather flip this horizontally to this and have it line up here. Yeah, wherever this fits is good, and then we'll go ahead and move this here. And yeah, I think that'll work. So let's go ahead and try this, see what we get out of it. I think some chemical plants are going to be needed, so we'll go ahead and take care of that right now. As far as power connectivity, we'll need to bring this up to be lined up here. And a few substations could be manufactured just to stay on top of that. Alrighty, why is this power? I guess we just kind of scooched it because it wouldn't fit otherwise, which is fine. But I think here's slightly better. Okay, heavy oil goes in. Our pipe count is too low. Okay. Great. So we now have no power. There we go. Power's coming in. Water needs calcite. Heavy oil needs calcite and coal. So right now I'm seeing inputs for this are both coming here. So one line is coal, one line is calcite. This is the calcite line right here. Cool. Should be good. Obviously, we'll expand on that more if we need more water. The coal can go here. Yeah, it looks a little awkward because we're like doubling back, but yeah, there's a few ways we can address that in the future. For right now, we're just trying to bring this back online. We need the sulfuric acid to connect. And that's not a sulfuric acid line yet because we have to add these in here. As soon as we do, now we have sulfuric acid coming in. We have the coal. Should be in range. Just need a little bit extra power here. We like that. Try to keep it consistent. Man, he's right there, ain't he? Little guy. Little ugly mug. That's fun. That's fun. All right, water is going out to the steam. Steam is going out here, but this water is not connected yet. Needs to be connected to this line here, which the horizontal flip is kind of messing with. But that's good because we can expand water this way as needed. And at the end of the day, it's just a couple extra pipes. Not that one, though. That one. All right. And now we are online. Petroleum should be coming in shortly. Maybe not here. A little confused how this one would even have water on the original setup over here. And the answer is it wouldn't. This is offline. So that's one reason why we needed to add that third one. I think we actually mathed it out, and 2 is fine, but the problem was we didn't have one of them working, so we addressed that. Petroleum count is increasing, and now let's just go ahead and connect that to right over where our plastic is being constructed, right up against the cliff line if we can. Again, we should be making plenty of this if we can to allow us to spread the juice across the land. Works out quite well. And actually can just kind of bring it right in here. Boom. Plastic online. In a higher throughput than it was before. Calcite's actually low. Yeah, this guy's done drilling. We got some big mining drills? We do. Let's get some big mining action over there. Surely won't give me another power outage. Nah, we're good on power. Great. Just got to keep it in mind. Let's go ahead and drop a few of these bad boys. Is this too far out? I mean, it is grabbing some from all the way over here. Not that that's a significant amount. I think we just redo the layout now. I really don't care too much about that little bit on the right. So what I'm going to do instead is something more like this. That'll do good. Yeah, I don't think you're necessary anymore. That was for when I was bringing everything over by hand. We've moved so far beyond that. Not really. We're still kind of... I mean, we're not caveman days, but we definitely have more to offer. 3 per second. Is that standard rates? Is this 3 per second as well? Interesting. They're efficient. They're big. They're eating some stuff up. Well, these things bring in 0.5 per second. This is 2.5 per second with some productivity increases. That's cool. Well, the calcite flows once more. And that's important because literally everything depends on it. Okay. Got our steam. Don't have a water tank technically. Maybe I could throw one out there once I get some iron again. Just so far away now. I don't want to go get it, but don't want to be out of it either. There's some right there. Found it. Beautiful. All right. So yeah, I was going to make a few of these. Drop one of them right here so that when we do this, we can track how much water we have as well. Probably more important than the steam, but either or. 1,000 steam in, 90 water out. Yeah. I guess as long as we have steam, we're okay. We'll see how it converts, shakes down after this. So light oil count is a little low. Heavy oil count is a little low. Like we said, we just need more refineries. Just need more of this. But we now have space for it instead of being trapped in this little tiny square, which is the whole point of this exercise. we now can just run our sulfuric along and run the coal and calcite along, right? Perfect. The one thing being that we just have to do some underground belting. Probably like here to here. And then from here to... I'm trying to think. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the gap. So 2, 3, 4 in the gap. Cool. Underground piping is what I meant, of course. But, you know, neither here nor there. So by clearing these out, we can now do this, 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 and with couple more. Gears. We can now do this, and then this. And if we make one more of these, even more. But I don't actually think I need that many. Still, as you can see, that's just a cleaner flow setup. We have so much more space to grow. We can expand to meet our needs here, and shouldn't have too many issues on petroleum, especially since we don't have to worry about pollution at all. It's a nice thing. Alrighty. So these are not currently operational because we are lacking coal. We're lacking coal because, we pulled from it at a awkward position where we're only getting a part of what we were doing. So first fix is just to do this, but we want more than that as well. So we're going to go ahead and do this for the moment. Pick up this guy because he's not doing nothing. But yeah, I do think that I would like to see a little bit more big mining drill action. We'll tap into that where we can. This is lacking advanced circuits. Of course it is. There's no circuits anywhere nearby. And I definitely can't craft this by hand, so I'm just going to have to drop some circuits in when I get them. And route those back up there eventually. I'm not even sure. Like, I'd have to go past the calcite and wrap it around. It's a little weird. I think I specifically made it so this could fit two. Well, doesn't seem like it will fit more than one, so yeah, we'll just do it up there. Is it better to route raw plastic up there so we can use it for different things? Because we do... The only thing we really want plastic for is the density frames, and those can be made right here, which is pretty close to the plastic line anyways. I think I went a little higher than I wanted, because I want to cut in right about here. Perfect. We're getting better. Just nestle in the nook there. Beautiful. Yeah, those pieces are just naturally not going to be near each other based on our current setup, so you do have to do a bit more extravagant routing, but... For now, this guy will chill, and we can bring him back in once that line fills up. But we like our mining drills, and we know that we're going to need them here and elsewhere, so let's just make that happen. I think we're about ready to do the metallurgic science packs. Molten copper. Check our molten quantities right now. Pretty good. Quick refill on our shots. Up top. Well, it does look like we had a little hiccup on the video feed, but we still have a little bit of a ways to go before we want to wrap things up on the episode here today. But yeah, while we had that little pause going on, I did get some thoughts as to what we could be doing differently. And one thing that came to mind is this research has kind of been in limbo for a while here. The Logistics 3 would really be nice to expand upon how many we could transport, like for a lot of these small items like the copper cable. And so that can actually be pretty easily done. If we go back to Novice, we already had the kind of what I consider temporary setup. We don't have anything set to scale with this, but we still have the ability to acquire this. So the first thing we probably need is going to be these rails. We need 30 per unit, so we're going to need a lot of them. Let's go ahead and just put 800 in here. And then we're also going to be trying to get the other ingredients for the purple science. That includes the electric furnaces. We can do, somewhere in the 100 to 200 range. And then the productivity module 1s. So all that combined together, reactivated, going to be put back into the system, fed right back onto the line here, and we should see this one moving up again here in the near future. The logistic bots are already kind of on their way in their weird little swarm, and yeah, we'll see some movement in that area, but also gives us an opportunity to then look at their tech tree and see what else we might be missing out on. Worker robot cargo size should be helpful. These are all kind of minor things, but they can still be quite helpful. Inserter capacity bonus as well. The braking force, it doesn't obviously matter much for what we're doing in Vulcanus, but can overall increase the speed of the trains. And it looks like this is this an infinite, or this is just a multi-tiered thing? So we can get it a few times. But what we're then going to look towards is probably some of these infinites researches, which can help a lot. Getting, it looks like additively stacking boost to our mining productivity, as well as our steel production. That's going to be great. So these do cost a lot more. These things are costing like 250 to 300. These ones down here are going to be costing us 1,000 to 1,500 of all of these resources. So that's going to take quite a bit. Just to double check, as far as our furnace production, that is going to be barely able to hold the stack here. Is that going to be a problem? I think it'll be okay because they're going to be constantly redeeming what they need to, but we want to make sure that this one is full constantly. It looks like it's doing okay, at least for the moment. The other one being, I guess, the productivity modules. We can take a quick look at where we had that here. It's in a weird little spot, but it does seem like it's just going to be pulling reds and greens where it needs to and able to continue to pump these out. So again, not going to be flush with ingredients, not going to be to scale, but this will gradually start going up, and we'll see some improvement, which could unlock our nice little blues. Before I set up the blue belts production here, since we do have lubricant online, I do want to go ahead and start using these advanced circuits. We're going to be trying to pull them down here. They do have kind of a bus right here. So if I'm able to maybe even go this way with it, then I could actually just have like a full bus of ingredients without too much interruption. So we can kind of pull this one down here and go from there. With a little bit of steel still making its way through from that snafu earlier. We'll go ahead and clean that up where we can, but hopefully, again, not sending anything careening into disrepair. And these guys can just kind of go all the way down. No big deal. So as far as what we need for our next item, since we have the advanced circuits, we want to start using them a little bit. Some of them, of course, are going to be going up and stockpiling over by our good friend, the big mining drill, whenever they can. That'll get a lot of that action going, but we also want to really spread the logistics grid over here. So roboports are going to be key. So we need steel, iron gear wheels, and then red circuits. So what we can do, of course, is then establish some underground pathing here for these, and then pull off the line for steel and iron. If we do it the right way, we can even then have, oops, that's not the right way. So if we do it the right way, then we can have great success, and otherwise imminent failure. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do this here. And then that will make it so that we have iron and steel on the same line. Nice and easy. And everything else can continue through. So now we've got the 3 ingredients that we would need if we were to make these. I think we need to turn the iron into gear wheels, double checking right here, and then everything else is good to go. So from there, if we want to assume this is actually part of a bus now, and maybe do something like this, do something like, well, I guess here, just for consistency's sake, and then yeah, bring this across. Now is the area where we can make our stuff. So we can also cast iron gear wheels, I believe, through the productivity or the higher productivity foundry, but I can go ahead and check that right here. No alternative recipe, just oh, there it is. Okay, so it's just molten iron instead directly, which is twice as efficient without the productivity bonus. So it's definitely something we can consider, but at least for this particular moment in time, we'll just keep it small. Yeah, because we basically have to start bussing iron gear wheels, which I would love to get the higher efficiency on. It's just not at the scale that we need it to be right now. So we can go ahead. This is already looking spaghetti. I need to give it a little bit more space. I almost feel like it's more going to be better if I just do it this way and I don't even bother with the split off. Just pull it right off the line here. And I think that'll be good. So we'll go ahead and tell this thing to make the roboports, this thing to make iron gear wheels, put it in directly. We'll need some power down over here. And let this one pull in here and for symmetry here. And so this will put in all the key ingredients. Obviously not at the exact rate you might want them, but sufficiently for us to work with. So now we're going to have roboports, and obviously it's out of logistic network now, but by automating roboports, we're able to then lack plastic, apparently. So we have this plastic here. I thought that we were doing pretty good on that side, but while we did increase the petroleum count, it does not seem to be sufficient for what we were trying to do. So we've got to double check these things are running full time, which we can't see because we don't have radars. And the madness continues. Okay. So as far as what we can see visually, I'm just going to go ahead and drop something down here. And then actually gives us some info on this little worm fellow here. But yeah, petroleum's still low. Our light oil is low. Our heavy oil is low. And that would mean that all these are either not working, or, which is the case here, because they don't have enough coal. We're mining a decent amount, but apparently not enough. So we're going to go ahead and supplement that with our big mining drills. I don't believe I have any on hand. Just trying to read through that inventory, which, you know, it's great that you can constantly get inventory size increases through the new armors and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're just going to have to be able to like find needles in haystack. And if you're not used to it at all, then it can be a problem. Do we just get rid of electromining drills? I mean, this stuff works on the other planet, right? If that's the case, then let's see. First, foundries. Let's see. No complaints there for it. And then the big mining drill obviously would need some ingredients to sit on. Let's try it here. No complaints there. So it does seem like we should be able to use these elsewhere. I can go ahead and get rid of that item. Still, of course, going to keep my assembly machines and such for right now, but I think it's the big mining drills that we really want to be locking in as a permanent place in the inventory. And then, of course, down here, we can go ahead and replace it much the same. Maybe there's something that the electric mining drills have that the big don't, other than, you know, lower electricity costs. But for right now, the way I see it, we want to pump some coal, and this is the best way to do it. So as far as, yeah, I think you might just need to be able to have a more specific electrical array for this, because we're not able to like just skip little bits here and there. So go ahead, just do a little bit of this action and hope for the best, right? A lot of stuff moving through. Technically this could be a blue coal line if it's full and we are not getting what we want out of it. Currently we're seeing some yellow down here, which means we're doing a good job filling up the line. Or we could also put 2 inputs at this splitter from 2 different chains. It is going to take a lot of electricity. We got to watch that. But the biggest thing is I just want to make sure that all this is operational, which just seems to be doing pretty good right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and just assume that that's sufficient and come back to it if not. But that helps out with our heavy oil. Not at 0, so I guess that's a small positive. Not exactly climbing here, but it's doing something. We just need to make another. I'll make some foundries just in case it comes into play. Then, yeah, I'm trying to remember if I was making pipes anywhere. Let me just kind of do a quick scan. It's definitely being made for the engines. Has to be. But is it being boxed anywhere, I guess is a better question. So that's what pipes look like. They just kind of glance around. Of course, we do know that you can foundry out the pipes. But at least for the moment, this is where I'm going to go for trying to get them stocked up. Of course, we'll need some iron along with that. So go ahead and just do a quick run on the line. That will hopefully help things out. Some steel will be great as well. Okay. So the pipes themselves were in the vicinity, but it'll be easier for me to... There it is, just straight north. It's a maze. I'm complaining about inventory, but at a certain point, the entire factory is going to start scratching heads unless we make it like very clear how things are supposed to be distributed, which hopefully we will. So if I'm making pipes from the manufacturing process, it needs to be directly from molten iron, I assume. Casting pipe from molten iron can be done. Yeah, I think it's just, at the end of the day, this is going to need a lot of room to grow. Like, the entire foundry line. The good thing is it's coming from pipelines, right? So you can do a lot with... I mean, I can just pull this molten iron anywhere. I am already doing that all the way up here. So in theory, I could cast pipes here. I could run those a line of the fluid all the way down here and start doing it. Like, I'm not that restricted, but it is good to keep in mind. Maybe I should just be doing like a pipeline of like molten copper, molten iron right here. That's an interesting concept, I think. So let's say that we did go that route. We would want to then, I guess, yeah, we just need a little bit more space. The fluids can't mix is the key thing here. So if I did this and did this as an underground and then did this as an underground. So it's weird to do an underground pipe next to an underground pipe, but it's because of these non-mixable fluids that we kind of have to. Diagonals are okay as far as I recall, so we could do it like here. And this one can come directly to the copper line. And this one will then run right here. So if we go that route, then that will allow us to, on this pipeline here, start to fill up a little bit more flexibility in space. We can start foundrying things with the molten materials, which is kind of nice. The icons are pretty clear what we're looking at, I would say. So yeah, if we wanted pipes, for example, down this way, we absolutely could do that. Casting pipes. Is it worth casting casting underground pipes seems like excessive right now. But yeah, like iron gear wheels feels like a good option. And then the pipes themselves under this. Huh. Okay, so it's the same recipe. It's just an assembling. It's just instead of assembling machine, you get it out of that, which is cool. Yeah, but anyways, we were looking at pipes, pipe to ground. Let's just go ahead and go this route. Yeah, I'm curious about how the ratios are affected or whatever, but we can always look at that later. For right now, go ahead and I'm already questioning what I'm doing with this if that's how I'm operating. Can't really uncork it that way because you have to keep the flow. So we're just going to move these down to here so as not to obstruct. And then it will be more like this. There we go. And so then the reds inserters or the bulk inserters can do their job. And we can go ahead and get some electricity consistency established. Looks like this is fairly even grid to work with. So we'll go ahead and do that. And yeah, now you've got this, which end of the day might not be a huge factor for some aspects, but like this, I think could just be a box for sure. Whereas iron gear wheels, I kind of feel like actually could go on the line just to make it so I don't have to make it in small increments. Later on, it would be a bit excessive, but just for this kind of starting point, I just want easy access to stuff like that so I don't have to... I mean, it's a one-step conversion as well. But again, double efficiency. Am I really running out of iron, though? The lava, the resource production of this area is pretty great. Yeah, I've waffled on this a bit, but I'm actually thinking I don't actually want this that badly. Though, since I do have oil here, maybe I can get the lubricant going. Where's the oil stuff? It's down here. So, in theory, you can just bring the lubricant up here and then make the blue express transfer belts. Maybe we get into that. So express transfer belts need quite a bit of iron gear wheels because the red ones also need 5. So for every single one of them, you need 15 iron gear wheels plus the one here. So 16 iron gear wheels. Oh, that makes 2. So I'm not going to count half, so I'll round up. But yeah, 16 iron gear wheels plus lubricant is basically, and 1 iron plate is basically all it comes down to, with some extra complexity on these other bits. A lot of iron gear wheels for the underground express belt, for example, so it can get a little annoying. We did have this little group over here, and maybe the best solution is just to have logistic bots bring it over to requester chests for those particular items. But yeah, I do want to go ahead and route some lubricant, so that's going to be my next step here. How are we looking on heavy oil as a whole? We are actually building a buffer, but not able to maintain light oil, not able to maintain petroleum, and our plastic production is still a little bit less than what we would want. So I think the solution to that is going to be to continue this chain with more refineries, which is going to be over here. I think 7 might be excessive, but we'll go ahead and add on an extra couple here with the same intentions. And then, yeah, we'll have to follow this pattern pretty much exactly. So do this, and holding down control will allow us to do the override thing, which we like. What about that? We can move that petroleum line. And that gives us exactly one more to fit in if we want to, which we do. So at the end of the day, we want a good amount of heavy oil. And there's no major cost to our planning or spatial needs to make that happen. Okay, and then of course we have to connect the dots with these two. It's fine to me. And then bring over the power grid. There we go. And just continue to add the material that goes through. Now these aren't getting sulfuric acid. Is there? This one wasn't designed to continue the line, or they're just all disconnected because it comes in from the right, not the left. My bad. So where's? Oh, it comes in from here. I see. Again, not too bad of... Not too big of a problem. What we just need to do is go ahead and line it up here. And then import it into this line. And they're all on. Then one more bit here. I feel like there's something wrong here. Oh yeah, we just needed to use this part here. Okay. Cool. And I guess if we ever feel like we might need it later, we can always extend it out further. Well, it gives us an odd number of undergrounds, which can be a little awkward. And heavy oil's online. It's beautiful. So that's going to ramp up our heavy oil quite a bit. These things are going to have plenty of juice, I would say, but let's go ahead and keep an eye on our sulfuric acid. It's shrinking slowly, maybe. Now these guys are yellow, so target full. We're all good. Alrighty. So plenty of heavy oil means we can expand on our light oil cracking process, and presumably just replicate this one. But we will have to see and make sure. Yeah, that should be fine. No, this undergrad stuff is unnecessary. We'll just do this. That'll work fine, yeah. Sure. Alrighty, and then this one. Oh, I think I'll just do this manually because we don't really have a good template for it yet, but we will. Just got to meet our demand. I'm not mathing out how much plastic per minute I'm pumping, but I'm just looking at the fluids and saying, hey, we need more of this. But we're draining heavy oil at a massive rate, even though we have all those refineries. Unfortunate. And that's one thing I was talking about with my notes related to the factory planner. And you can see just this plastic bar here. You basically need, for every chemical plant that's light oil cracking, you need like 1.1 oil refineries. You need more refineries than you need plants. So important to maintain, for sure. Guns. I'm gonna gun. Alrighty. Well, we're gonna be wrapping things up here shortly, but do appreciate y'all for sticking with the factory, whether this is the first time visiting or you've been with us since the beginning. Really appreciate it. Of course, you do have the option to like, comment, or subscribe if you want to see more videos from the channel, as well as just kind of help the factory grow in a more meta way. But yeah, I appreciate any comments because I do think that there are plenty of things that I could be doing better, and that feedback is always fun to read and dialogue with, and so on. Try to respond to all the comments. So, but yeah, no, it's been a fun time building this up and seeing, you know, a brand new world when it comes to the space age here. So, you know, we're a few more steps to fixing a few of our issues. We'll take those as we need to. Let's see, petroleum is, oh, the petroleum is the one that we need a bunch of. Light oil, heavy oil cracking to light oil is actually not that fast. So these are going to be, wow. So we could theoretically make a lot of petroleum. I mean, if we wanted to, we could even, you know, we have 12 here. We could probably make like 10 and go from there. So I guess, you know, why not? Worst case, we burn some power, right? So we'll do the same thing we were doing before, just kind of matching up the pieces as appropriate, but we do not want this underground. And go from there. And here as well. Just keep it consistent across the board, leaving this to be a, the heck are you doing? Okay, let's just say here, and then great. And lacking a little bit on the chemical plant side. So that should do it. As we kind of try to rate this more properly. So yeah, it's 2 versus 6.5. So first we need like 7.5 refineries. We then need to light oil crack it with 2. So this is a bit excessive, to be honest with you. It jump started it nicely, but realistically we probably want less. Also, you don't have water because reasons. Our water pump flow just not good enough for you? What? This is an underground pipe. It should be a regular pipe. Okay. There we go. Sorry, I didn't mean to assume that you were being particular about your H2O. Alrighty. So, yeah, we're doing the whole process here. It's going pretty well. Our steam count's good. Our water count's good. We are probably going to be exceeding our needs for light oil. And there's, I mean, it could turn into space rocket fuel. I think there's some value in that. That's going to be something that we want to be doing pretty soon anyways for the whole space thing, right? So actually do not remember what goes into rocket parts. I can glance at that real quick. Yeah, light oil goes into the solid fuel, goes into the rocket fuel, which is one of the 3 components for a rocket ship. So maybe it's better we are getting some excess light oil. At the end of the day, it's not hurting anything too much, just a few inoperable machines, worst case. So we're petroleuming now more than ever, which means that we will be pumping out some plastic, which will then be rapidly consumed. But yeah, like we've got all these advanced circuits online, all these online. I think that's something to be happy with. So if we go ahead and check if that's gotten us anything with regard to the roboports, we are going to be looking at 15. So I think my game plan is offline. I'm going to be just doing what you see here. You know, Lincoln log snapping these RoboGrid together, and then we'll come back and make some blue express belts and go from there. But I think that there's a lot of potential now that we kind of have the most critical pieces in play for us to not only set up on the next episode the new science pack, the metallurgic science pack, but also get back all the way to rocketry and blast off back to the orbiter potentially. I look, judging by my experience on Novice and how it always felt like I had just a little bit more to do on planet side, I imagine we're not leaving Vulcanus, next episode, but we will be hitting the minimum threshold to maybe ship some orange science. Is that what's called? Orange science? Lava science? You know, whatever it is. I think orange is probably the best shorthand for it. Metallurgic. Doesn't really roll off the tongue. But yeah, we'll most likely be able to get orange science out to novice and start the research for one of the two big techs. I think that the artillery still needs yellow, if I remember correctly. Yes, but even that, you guys can see, is stuff that we've already done, and excited to get that knocked out in the near future as well. And then we are basically getting all of the essentials taken care of. So very excited to see how things go as time goes by. But for right now, I'm happy to see these little yellow exclamation points disappear as I continue to click these things into place. Hopefully with power. Yeah, so that'll be... We'll go ahead and get that grid online. What's it look like right now? That's the robots. There it is. Logistic numbers. So yeah, we'll just, you know, get coverage across the whole area that we're working in and come back with a little bit more next time around. Until then, thank you guys for tuning in again. Feel free to leave a comment, like the video, or subscribe to the channel. That always allows more people to see the content and for you to see it as well. So always a pleasure to have you around, and hopefully see you on the next one. Peace.